Hey, what you reading for?
Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video we are going to talk about sex, but only weird sex. And by weird I mean unconventional sexual urges and attractions. There is no judgment, no kink shaming on this channel. Instead, I have selected 6 works of fiction, some literary, some horror, novels, novellas, short stories, plays, that explore the theme of sexual perversion, which, as defined by the American Psychological Association, is any sexual practice that is regarded by a community or culture as an abnormal means of achieving orgasm or sexual arousal. A fairly broad definition which serves our purposes well here, since I can then recommend books with a variety of abnormal means of achieving orgasm or sexual arousal. Quick reminder to like and subscribe. Thank you for your support. And that's enough foreplay, don't you think? Let's get into it. We'll start off with something that is relatively tame, Nightwear by John Everson. Nightwear is a work of horror wherein a young couple, Mark and Ray, are invited to a secret underground sex club where attendees are encouraged to explore the darker side of their urges. Ray, she's really into it. Good times as far as she's concerned. So they accept a second invitation and a third, etc. Each time, Ray pushes the limits of what her body can take, and in doing so, the darker side of her urges grows and becomes all-consuming. Mark is concerned for his wife's physical and mental health. He is also growing suspicious of the club and its mysterious proprietors. Something wholly unnatural is going on here in more ways than one. Beautiful descriptions of gore and over-the-top BDSM. Not a whole lot going on here in terms of character development or plot, but that is not the point here. The point is let the whips crack, let the flesh tear, and the floors run red with blood and other fluids. Nightwear is a short book coming in at around 270 pages. It plays with the confusion of pleasure and pain in a style that is reminiscent of the work of Clive Barker. Good times. For the right reader, I give Nightwear a high recommendation. Next up, Psychopolis by Ian McEwan. This is a collection of 3 novellas, and as far as I know, this collection has only been published in French and in German. But for English language readers, not to worry, because these stories were taken from his first 2 collections, First Love, Last Rites, and In Between the Sheets. In the collection, In Between the Sheets, we have the insinuation of bestiality, the insinuation of castration. We have incest, a heightened appreciation for a department store mannequin, a suspicious father, his teenage daughter, and her older girlfriend who was afflicted with dwarfism, and a dinner party hosted by a feminist with submission fantasies. There are several unorthodox sexual fantasies explored here. For fans of Ian McEwan, this is the author in the early stages of his career. This is him experimenting, trying to find his voice. He is not an author that I have yet connected with in a strong way, but I will be checking out more of his work going forward, and he is definitely deserving of a place on this list. Next, since we are talking about fiction and sexual perversion, I will take the opportunity to plug my most recent book, Edifice Complex, which plugging your own book in a YouTube video is kind of a tacky thing to do, I think. But hey, I've got a cat to feed, so don't hate the player, hate the game. In Edifice Complex, Karim, an Algerian immigrant in Paris, seeks refuge from the barrage of noise the city attacks him with. He believes he's found it when his brother moves to London and leaves him his flat. So, Karim and the apartment building he lives in, they develop an intimate, obsessive, codependent, erotic relationship. And together they attempt to kill off all the other people living in the building so that they can be alone together forever. But the owner of the building has plans to demolish so that he can build a more modern, high occupancy building in its place. Relationships are tough, and Kareem and his building, it's not easy for them, you know. Sometimes the sex can be so good that it covers up other problems in the relationship, you know, like all the murdering and bloodshed, but it can only cover up those problems for so long. Edifice Complex is a strange book, but a good book, I think, and one that is deserving of its place on this list. Links to Edifice Complex and my other books in the description box. Next, I have to talk about Crash by JG Ballard. Excellent book, highly original, captivating, and unsettling. Car crash survivor James Ballard gets involved with a group of marginals, former crash victims themselves, with an erotic obsession with car crashes and the transformative results of the collision of metal and flesh, this new stage in the evolution of man. They all follow their leader, a certain Robert Vaughn, in his pursuit to reenact famous car crashes of Hollywood celebrities in order to experience a new sexuality born of this new technology. Certainly not a book for everyone, but I think Crash is an extraordinary literary achievement. It is written in such a cold and dispassionate tone that really works well for the story it's telling. We'd have to wait 12 years until Bret Easton Ellis's debut, Less Than Zero, to get something comparable in that respect, I'd say. I loved Crash. I need to read more from JG Ballard. Do you have any experience with his work? Any recommendations? I have also read High Rise, which it was okay. And Concrete Island and Empire of the Sun are both on my TBR, but I'd love to hear your suggestions. Next, this one's going to be tough. Equus by Peter Shaffer, from the same year as Crash, coincidentally, 1973. 1973, apparently a very good year for sexual perversion in literature. Also, the year I was born. Coincidence? Who can say? Equus is a play, a modern classic that took critics and the public by storm. A young boy has a religious fascination with horses. However, he has difficulties differentiating between the adoration he feels and his budding sexual arousal. He has committed a grotesque act of violence against a stable of horses. I won't go into specifics about it here. It is gruesome. The young boy is then treated by a child psychiatrist who is the protagonist of the story. The psychiatrist struggles with professional disillusionment. He treats young boys who have committed violent acts, and he sees in these acts an expression of passion, albeit extreme expressions. And yet, he wonders if it is possible to feel and express passion without going to extremes. Perhaps the two are inextricably related. And as a child psychiatrist, he sees his role as meant to dull this passion, remove it, or eradicate passion from the lives of these young boys. He doesn't know if he wants to continue doing that, if it's a valuable endeavor. This is heavy stuff. It is not a light play. What is further disturbing about this work is that the playwright, Peter Shaffer, he was inspired by a real-life event. A 17-year-old boy blinded 6 horses in a small town in northern England. And Shaffer, without knowing any of the details, he set out to create a fictional account of what might have been the cause or causes of this crime. The stage production opened in London in 1973, and then there was the Broadway production in 1974, starring Anthony Hopkins as the child psychiatrist, a role which would later be played by Richard Burton, Leonard Nimoy, and Anthony Perkins. Interesting. I have never seen a production of this play. I don't know if I would want to. It was a tough read, but an interesting one. trigger warnings, obviously, for animal cruelty. And yeah, that's enough about Equus. Thinking about this play makes me uncomfortable. Let's move on. And we will close with Exquisite Corpse by Poppy Z. Bright, a 5-star read for me. A serial killer in England flees to the United States, to New Orleans, where he meets someone who shares a lot in common with him, another serial killer. It's nice to meet someone that you share something in common with. So they try to have a relationship, but as you know, relationships are difficult, especially when your significant other is really into corpses and you are not a corpse. It would probably take a lot of counseling to overcome this obstacle, but these two serial killers, they do not seek out counseling. Instead, they seek out more victims, and that doesn't end well. I would not consider Exquisite Corpse a horror book, not in the way it's paced or the story unfolds. However, it is a dark book with lots of blood and violence and tension and disturbing scenes. The book is set during the height of the HIV/AIDS pandemic. Almost every character in the book is HIV positive, and they are trying to infect everyone around them. It is very disturbing. The author takes a lot of chances with this work, and I think that Poppy Z. Bright pulls them off, all of them. It is quite impressive. Certainly not a book I could recommend to just anyone, but if you like it dark, Exquisite Corpse is outstanding. There you have it, 6 works of fiction that feature sexual perversion as a driving force in the narrative. Do you have any experience with the books or authors I talked about in this video? What book can you recommend that fits the theme and would make for a good addition to this list? I always enjoy hearing your thoughts and recommendations. I always enjoy connecting with you in the comment section. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Support the channel, buy one of my books, enjoy it, and leave an honest review. That is much appreciated. Thank you for watching. I'll see you at the next video.